Hello everybody, how's it going? Welcome to this week's episode of Gaming News and Trailers. It's an all-trailer kind of day, and once again, just like last week, you're gonna get real sick of me saying this is the launch trailer for X game. But let's go ahead and get this rolling. We have got the launch trailer for Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Let's take a look. This game is reviewing very, very well. Like 90 plus. First 2D Mario game in a long time.
You don't see that every day.
Love that sound.
I want to be a toad.
What's that? Wonderful!
It's available right now. I kind of wish that there weren't so many games out. I would totally play that. All right, next up we have the official release trailer for City Skylines 2. Let's take a look. By the way, this game comes out, I think, Tuesday. It's got some tech issues on PC, so be aware of that.
But here I am, and there you are.
The dev said that they're working on it, apparently. Nope, we will turn disasters off. No tornadoes in my town. Yeah, hopefully they get the tech issues figured out because this game looks great.
Now my dream is here with me, yet I'm wide awake.
That was a cool trailer.
I never thought I'd meet it.
We'll see if any of that gets copyrighted on YouTube. All right, next up, we have the launch trailer for Wizard with a Gun. And again, I'd love to be playing this right now, but there's too many games out. Because this game looks totally down my alley. It's also a Devolver game. Maybe I could convince Jalen to play this with me. Because the co-op looks a lot of fun. Obviously, this is not showing what the game actually is. This is the art style of the game, though. I do know that. Here real quick, for anybody who's interested in actually seeing what that game actually is, let me pull up the Steam page. Because it's probably not what you think it is. Let's see if there's actually a gameplay trailer. Oh yeah, here we go. This is... But there's actual, like, base building and skill trees, and... So I think it would be a lot of fun in co-op, going out and, like, collecting resources, and then going and building your base, and... Yeah, it's kind of like an ARPG-ish. But yeah, Devolver, does some pretty good stuff. All right, next up, we have the launch trailer for Endless Dungeon. Another top-down ARPG style game. Saga.
That's a big, bad bug boss. And you know how to take that down? First, don't panic. No,
Chimney, way too big to eat. Boom.
back in the saloon. Next try. You may say,
Look for its attack pattern.
sure, but you gotta have the firepower, right? Don't forget it. And don't you dare say, "Ha, piece of cake," because you're the one who's gonna end up as dessert. To have the upper hand, you gotta get the right backup. And stay on your toes, or else
Anyone seen our little crystal pop buddy?
better try a new squad. Lock and roll. Sometimes we bite off more than we can chew. But it's beautiful when it comes together. And you rock the house.
Again, this looks really fun. Too many good games are out right now.
Party time.
Crazy. All right, next up, we have us a launch trailer for a game that we all played in the 90s, a game that we all love to hate. It's getting a remaster. Let's check it out. Also, Keith David.
1,000 years ago, superstition and the sword ruled. It was a time of darkness. It was the age of gargoyles. Frozen in stone by a magic spell for 1,000 years. Now the spell is broken, and we live again!
Pretty good art style change.
Stone by day, warriors by night. We are defenders of the night. We are gargoyles.
What if anybody has reviewed that? All right. Next up, we have the launch trailer for Warm Snow. Based on that, can you guess what kind of game it is? I'm guessing probably not.
Welcome the next stage of evolution. You leave me no choice but to sacrifice your soul for my masterpiece.
Kind of a weird name. I'm gonna melt the snow with the blood of my enemies, apparently. All right. Next up, is this the final launch trailer of the day? It is. All right. We have the official launch trailer from Hellblade Web of Word. Let's take a look.
So, what are we dealing with here?
4 psychic spikes measured at over 180 BPUs. Your job is to find possible links between the spikes before they cause any further repercussions.
That's a fun word. Here goes nothing.
The art style is really nice.
Stay down.
Also, I thought it was called Hellboy Web of Weird.
Not yet, half-breed. Soon. I promise. Soon.
But no, apparently the devs came out and said, no, it's not weird, it's word. They're just spelling it weird. All right, next up we have the gameplay trailer for First Dwarf. This is a game that I know nothing about. Have we seen this? I'm trying to remember.
The title of First Dwarf, not just an honor, but a burden. A brave heart chosen to find a new beginning for his kin. The previous hero disappeared, and his legacy was forgotten. Now it's True's time, a dwarf longing to restore his father's name. But he's not alone. Ragna, the scholar dragon, stands by his side. Her wisdom counters society's bias against her scaly kind. Together, harnessing the power of the mech, they'll shape the land for a new dwarven dawn. They will discover the magical flying islands and harvest the richness of diverse lands.
So is this an open world survival game? Kind of looks like it.
Together, they will build new colonies. They will develop their skills and craft gear.
Or maybe it's just an
which will
open
be
world
useful
crafting game.
in fighting tainted enemies and defending the base. They will survive this story together or alone. The fate of Driftland lies in your hands.
That looks like that could be neat. Yeah, I'll have to keep an eye on that one. All right, next up, and I feel like I show very few Final Fantasy XIV trailers, but we have a new trailer for Final Fantasy XIV Online Dawn Rail. They're adding a new class, or aka job, into that game called the Viper. Let's take a look. Is it like a rogue? Okay. Speaking of Final Fantasy XIV Online, Yoshi P was out there doing an interview, and apparently in the interview he said that he has no interest in ever doing another MMO ever again. Basically, like, that is his game, that's his MMO, and he'd never do another one. So, interesting stuff. All right, the final trailer of the day. You guys might remember, before City Skylines came out, we were doing a series where every week there was a new City Skylines video, kind of like a dev diary thing. So there is another game that's coming out next year that's one of my most anticipated games, and they have started to do a dev diary for that game. So now, hopefully every week, we'll be looking at the dev diary for this upcoming game. I'm not going to tell you what it is. This game, though.
With Senua's Saga Hellblade 2's development well underway, we want to take you behind the scenes of how we're making the next chapter in Senua's story, and just as importantly, why we take the approach we do. Just like with Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice, we want to take you on our development journey with us.
This game is going to be bonkers.
Our first stop in this new series of dev diaries is to look at how we've captured and realized Saga's location, Iceland, and in particular, how we're building a believable world that our players can sink themselves into.
My name's Dan, and I'm the Environment Art Director here at Ninja Theory. After we decided that the locations would be based on real places within Iceland, we realised that we needed to get some pretty good reference for that. You can get so far by just looking on the internet and Googling these different places, but it's kind of not enough. You need to stand there and actually feel it to get a real sense of the space.
Relying on a location over 800 miles away across the North Atlantic Ocean presents a number of challenges, particularly when ground truth reference is so critical to achieving the level of realism we need. Our environment art team had to find creative solutions to overcome these challenges.
First of all, when we knew that we were going to choose Iceland, like the first thing what we did is we wanted to see if we could get elevation data for the entire island itself, which we found. So we got some pretty good resolution data, which was about 2 meters per pixel. But then we soon realized that even at that resolution, it wasn't to the level that was going to work when you're down kind of at ground level with the player. So we needed to find a way of up-resing that. We ended up settling on a service called Drone Deploy, which allows us to map out a capture grid, which is like a flight plan for the drone. You download that to the drone goes up, it takes pictures every few meters. You take all of those pictures and then you feed them into the computer, and then through a process called photogrammetry, it recreates that area in 3D. So we've got a 3D model of that location to something like 7 centimeters per pixel resolution compared to 2 meters.
With a technical solution in place, we were then struck with unexpected news. When the pandemic took hold across the world, our team was sent home to work and all flights were grounded. It was impossible to visit Iceland, and so we needed to find a way to capture Iceland without actually being able to go there.
We had our initial trip planned and ready to go, all specced out, tickets bought, hotels booked, and then the pandemic hit, so that basically scuppered that. We needed to kind of find another way to help us out in the meantime. Initially, we'd been in contact with a photographer and guide out in Iceland called Chris Lund, who had helped us out with the initial location scouting, who had guided us around on our very first trip a few years ago.
I'm Christopher Lund. I'm an Icelandic landscape photographer based in Reykjavik, Iceland. What's unique about Iceland is that you have a lot of variation in landscapes, and you don't have to travel very far. Like, you have this in other countries, but you have to sometimes travel days to be in something completely different. Here you can be shooting on a black beach on a very barren landscape, and then you drive for half an hour and it's lush and green and dramatic waterfalls. This is the reason for Iceland being chosen for the game. A lot of my work is me just looking over weather charts and trying to maximize, the shooting time at each location. A lot of these maps are quite large scale, so the drone needs to go, and it has like a 25-minute battery life, and then it has to land and have to change the batteries. And some of these missions are 3 battery switches over an hour of shooting, and the light can change in that time frame quite often. Another factor is strong wind. You can't fly in a very strong wind, so that could also be an issue, and of course rain is a no-go. What I've seen from the development of the game is amazing. Just the quality of the graphics and how lifelike it is.
I think they're using UE5 for this, maybe?
We spent a lot of time working with him like that remotely, which actually worked out fantastically because he's on tap, he's right there. If we want to go and recapture somewhere else or pick out some other details, we can just give him our flight plans for the drone-based photogrammetry, give him detailed breakdowns of what the things we want scanning, and we could send him out and do our bidding for us.
Eventually, the world returned to some kind of normality. Our team could work in our studio again, and a much anticipated visit to Iceland could be scheduled.
We realised that we needed to go kind of bigger, so we basically completely replanned the trip from scratch. We added 21 locations, 2,500
This is selling me on a trip to Iceland. Now I want to go there.
Pretty ambitious, but we kind of felt that we needed to sort of cram it in as much as possible. We'd been waiting all this time, so we just needed to go out there and kind of hit it as hard as we could. I'd been lucky enough to previously been out, so kind of felt like I was always banging on about what it's like to be there. And with the other guys in the environment art team, they had to kind of take my word for it. It was essential that they come and kind of experienced it too. If anything, it's quite exciting to kind of go, look, this is how it feels. This is what it feels like to stand on the edge of this crazy looking rock face or this cliff kind of thing. Getting the guys out there to see it in the flesh is like, takes us back to the point about reference. It's about, there's only so much you can get from a photo. It was so valuable to have us all on the same page, we're all singing from the same hymn sheet.
Of course, our work to realise Iceland was based on ground truth reference from modern day. It's important that along with capturing the landscapes, we also bring to life the reality of Iceland as it was in the 10th century.
So outside of visiting Iceland and experiencing the locations, we knew that we wanted to be faithful to the other things that we put in it. So once you start thinking about like the structures and the man-made things that are going to be in the game, we want to approach those in the same way as we've approached the environment itself. Again, reference is key to this. We don't want to make what we think it looks like. We want to get as much reference gathering as possible and be as faithful to what the real thing would have looked like. When we were looking at some of the turf houses, which are the technique they used to use to build their houses, so it's like a timber frame cladded in lumps of earth and which had like kind of grass growing on and things like that. You spend a lot of time dissecting that, watching videos on people building them, trying to break it down into its component parts and being as faithful to that as possible. Similarly, for things that we knew we wanted to make, like various kind of trinkets or idols or different smaller props and things like that, we decided to see if we could make those by hand and then scan those, sticking faithfully to this idea that photogrammetry gives you that extra added level of detail and believability. That led us to set up some small-scale photogrammetry in the studio, which we've got, and we use as much as we possibly can, scanning things like bones and totem poles that have been carved by ourselves. The level of realism that we're aiming for will really help with the immersion of the experience. It kind of stops you from questioning the space you're in if we are using all...
Just to stop this for a second. That's a great line from him. Like, he was talking about the level of immersion that they're looking for.
All of this kind of reference and these scanned items and things like that. As an environment artist working on this project, it's kind of the project that I've always wanted to make. And you could probably say the same thing for the other guys as well. It's having that ability to recreate something and then putting a slight spin on it yourself. And it's being truthful to the reference, which is quite exciting.
Cool. I'm going to throw an audible here real quick, and we're going to watch this. So yeah, if there's anybody in chat who has not seen this, the first game has my personal award as the best audio design I've ever heard in a video game. So let's watch this. Whoop, 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 whoop. This is number 2. I'm going to stay silent so you can listen to this.
She can feel them slipping through her soul, following the threads of her mind. She's here to find them, the ones who hide. She needs their help with a promise, a question. But it's never so simple, is it? Wisdom has a price. There's always a part of you that changes. A part of you that darkens. And a part of you that dies.
Over there, that pool. I can feel them. Feel them everywhere. The lost ones. They are watching us. You should never have come here. They can see us.
What is going to happen? It's time to find out. How can we make it happen?
It's time to find out. Why are they watching?
It's time to find out.
What are they waiting for?
Senua, what are you waiting for? I'm here.
Watching. More than one.
Where are they? Where are you?
What do they want? I don't like it. I'm scared.
This is too
Mad woman.
Their eyes everywhere. I can feel them boring into her.
Witch.
What is she supposed to do?
do something.
Ask them.
What do you want me to do?
Lost soul who fought through hell to find us.
You were lost. Not anymore.
Are you ready for what you will find here?
What we will find. What if it's all for nothing? What is that?
They are waiting.
There. It's them.
It's you.
What will they do to her?
What will we do to us?
Touch it.
Feel
You're mine.
your voices.
All the parts of you that are broken.
You can be whole.
All the grief. All the rage.
All the fear. Everything I've seen. Everything I've done has led me to this place.
We've come so far.
Not far enough. Say it.
You are ready.
Tell them. I am here. Now. What if we get lost forever?
What will happen to them?
What will happen to you? I will not let them down.
She is ready. They know.
Go.
Who are these around you, Senua? Those you have saved, or those you led to death?
Looks incredible. Absolutely bonkers. Yeah, first game was great. Deep, deep story-driven game. Based on Norse mythology. Before that second game comes out, I will be streaming the first one again. So, yeah, be awesome to play that game again. But yeah, sometime next year. No date yet. So, we'll see. For those who are watching on YouTube, we'll wrap up the video right there. So thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.